person attains Sotapanna, it does not mean he has no eye. When a person attains the Sotapanna, 3 fetters are destroyed now. One is the view of a body of a being in the body, Sakaya Ditti. The view of a being in the body. Because normally we think the body is I. When a person attains the Sotapanna, then he realizes this body is not I. But there is still an I somewhere. It's just like the Anagami in the sutta. There's one sutta where some Theras, they thought a certain monk was an Anagami. Actually, he's an Anagami. So these Theras, they have not attained any higher stage. So they wanted him to teach. So they asked him, what's the state of an Anagami like? So he said, the state of an Anagami is that he knows that there is no, theoretically, he knows that there is no I, no soul. But somehow he still has that inside somewhere. He still clings to that I. And then he gave a simile of I think something like a cloth has a certain smell. Then he will go and wash it clean. After he wash it clean, it's clean of all the dirt. But still that little smell persists, A certain smell persists. So, I'm talking about this, whether he knows he's got this, he's a Sotapanna all the time. It's only when he contemplates, only he knows. I don't think that he knows all the time that he's Sotapanna. In the sutta, there's a simile given of a person whose hand is cut. He's got no hand. But when he's not thinking that he's got no hand, he does not realize he's got no hand, You use your left hand to shake hands with him, he'll come out with his arm. Actually, he's got no arm. Is it? It's only when he thinks, actually I have no left hand. I have to use my right hand. The important thing is to study the suttas. As I said, try to buy the 4 Nikayas and study it again and again. And after some time, you have a certain understanding of the sutta. Then the Buddha said there are 4 things that if you have, you can be quite sure that you have entered the stream and won't fall into the woeful plains. One, you have unshakable faith. You have saddha. You have strong confidence or faith in the Buddha. You have strong confidence or trust in the Dhamma, in the Sangha. And then your 5 precepts are quite pure. If you have these things, you can be quite, provided you have that understanding of the sutta, of the discourses. It mentioned that you need to study all the 4 Nikayas and relate them, because the suttas, you cannot take one sutta and say this is the absolute truth. As I mentioned in my previous talk in Ipoh, I say one sutta will explain the truth from one angle. Another sutta will explain the truth from another angle. The more suttas you read, then you will see from various angles and you will understand better. For example, I did mention in the Ipoh talk that some people think just by studying the Satipatthana Sutta, you know all about Satipatthana. You don't. In the Sangyutta Nikaya, there are very many important suttas that deal with Satipatthana. And even that is not all. In the Digha Nikaya, again you have, and the Majjhima Nikaya, again you have suttas that deal with Satipatthana. So unless you study all these suttas, you might come to some wrong conclusions. For example, I mentioned earlier, there is one sutta that says, Samatha, tranquilization, will give you concentration, which in turn will make you abandon lust. And then it also says that Vipassana, contemplation, will give you wisdom. And so from this sutta alone, you might think that Samatha only gives you concentration, and Vipassana is the one that gives you wisdom. But you can find another sutta which says almost the opposite. Namely that a bright mind, if you cultivate your samadhi, your concentration so strong until your mind becomes very bright, that is the best condition for insight. In other words, samadhi here will give you wisdom. And then it says, contemplation on the 32 parts of the body will make you abandon lust. So just now there it says concentration makes you abandon lust. Here it says contemplation makes you abandon lust. Quite the opposite. So you can only reconcile this by understanding that Samatha and Vipassana must work together. You cannot separate them. To separate them is to misunderstand, because as I mentioned in my previous talk, there's one sutta in the Majjhima Nikaya, I think 149, that says that when you cultivate the Aryan Eightfold Path and you develop it fully, automatically all the 37 Bodhipakya Dhammas are developed fully. Namely the 4 Satipatthana, the 4 Samappadana, the 4 right efforts, the 4 Iddhipada, the 5 Bala, the 5 Indriya, the 7 Bojjhanga, the 8 factors of the Aryan Fold Path. All these automatically are developed when you develop the Aryan Eightfold Path. And it also adds that when all these are fully developed, then Samatha and Vipassana work together. They are led to work together, Samatha and Vipassana. So how can you separate them?